This past growing season was hot and dry across the Midwest, and many are concerned that the 2013 growing season will be similar. Looking back, in regards to insect control, what lessons should farmers take from the 2012 growing season, and what should they be preparing for moving into 2013?
The important thing as you look at planning for insect control is look at the historical pressure you've had, and then think about last year at about pollination time when the adults emerged. Every one of the females that you saw or probably have laid about 600 eggs in a pretty close geographical area that you were scouting in that field. And so that's going to give you some barometer on the amount of pressure that you're going to have next year. The other thing to take into account, also when we go into this next year, the eggs were probably laid fairly deep, so that's probably going to delay the hatch as we look at going into 2013. So you'll probably see later emergence more than likely.
As insect resistance remains top of mind for many farmers, what are the key things that all farmers need to know about managing insect resistance on their farm?
Well, I mean, managing insects is a tough thing to begin with. And just because you had heavy feeding, or if an area have heavy pressure and have rootworm feeding, that doesn't always necessarily mean that you have resistant rootworms. But the thing is, if we have that situation, basically in 2012, if you had that situation on your farm, as we look at going forward to 2013, you probably want to take some things into account. You probably want to look at planting a hybrid that has multiple modes of action for rootworm. Something like an Agrisure 3122. You might want to consider utilizing a rootworm insecticide. The benefit of that is you're going to get optimum control of a rootworm. At the same time, you're going to be able to get some control of secondary pests. In a corn-on-corn environment, as we look at managing insects, it becomes even more of an issue. We look at having heavier residue in those environments. We have better place for insects to overwinter. At the same time, as we look at migratory pests like cutworms, the excess residue is going to give a good environment for them to lay their eggs as well.
What should farmers be focusing on as they prepare for their corn insect management program?
The root is extremely important in the corn plant. Obviously, for the structure and stability, keep the plant standing through harvest, and then also just as far as growth and survival of the plant. We were in one of those areas where we had extremely heavy rootworm pressure. Probably want to make some management changes going forward into 2013. Another mode of action to control rootworms is going to be pretty important. Once we realize we have a problem, the damage has been done, taking a proactive approach to planting a hybrid that has multiple modes of action against rootworms, and then also using a rootworm insecticide like Force in furrow at planting time at a full labeled rate, aside from getting the best activity of best efficacy on corn rootworms with Force, it probably has the best activity on secondary pests as well.